Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Self Love Sunday Live. In today's session, I am going to be talking to Fatima, who is a therapist, and she's also one of my old private yoga clients. And we just thought it'd be really good to talk about the practice of yoga alongside doing therapy and how they actually work hand in hand. So let me just see if I can just invite her in. Just give me a moment. And I think she's here. So Fatima, if you can just accept the invite. I know you've sent a request as well, so let me just see if I can accept that. I know sometimes with Instagram it can take a little minute to connect. So while it connects, I'll just let you know a little bit about my journey with therapy. So I have been doing therapy for probably the last 5 years, and I really feel like it is um, so great alongside the practice of yoga. Like, it really has helped me to go deeper into my self-love journey and to really just understand myself more, to understand my emotions, my feelings, my thoughts, to understand my past, and to delve into inner child work and lots of different areas of my life, which you can't always just do on the yoga mat. Like, I feel like on the yoga mat, things come up in a very subconscious way and you're releasing at a subconscious level. But sometimes it's really important to allow that to be conscious and to bring that up consciously. So let me just take another moment. I think it's saying that it cannot accept Fatima. So I always have a few issues when I try to accept someone to come in live. So Fatima, we'll just keep trying for a moment to see if we can connect you in. Here we go. There
Okay,
you
great.
are.
There I
Okay.
am. Oh,
So
teething
it always takes a
problems.
minute. It always
Yeah.
just takes a minute. So I'm glad you're there. How are
Hello.
you?
I am good now that I've joined.
Yeah, it always feels a bit stressful to come in, but yeah, you're here, so
Yeah.
I'm really glad to see you.
And
So
glad
yeah,
to
let's
see
just
you.
get
Happy New
into
Year, and let's start.
yeah, I just thought let's get straight into it. So I just
Sure.
wanted to first of all ask you, if you could just share a little bit about yourself and explain
Um,
your background, and especially
yeah.
your background with therapy and
Yes.
yoga, and also just to let people know who are coming in now. So Fatima and myself have known each other for quite a few years,
Think
and
13, 14 years.
yeah, quite a long time, right?
Yes.
And Fatima started as a private client with me, so we started yoga together, and that was
Yes.
a really beautiful journey. And
Yes.
then I think we just stopped, and I can't remember whether it was because I think I
Because
went traveling.
no, I moved.
Oh, then you moved. You just moved
Yes.
to Saudi,
I
right?
moved
So
countries, not just
yeah,
neighborhoods.
yeah. And I think this was pre-COVID, so we didn't really do any Zoom sessions or anything like that, did we?
Yeah,
So
no, we didn't. I kind of fell out of the habit. I did do some YouTube sessions on
yeah,
you with yoga, so I
yeah.
kept up the practice off and on. And now
Yeah,
I'm the last 3 years I've been doing yoga regularly.
yeah,
So the my journey with yoga has really sort of complemented
mm,
my practice and my own journey of self-love and
yeah,
self-compassion, which self-compassion is something that forms a big part of my work. And
yeah,
through I'm a psychodynamic couple and individual therapist, as well as a psychosexual therapist. So,
yeah,
as a psychosexual therapist, what I learned to do, my basic training is couples and very psychodynamic. But
hmm,
then I added the other modality, which is working in an embodied way. So,
okay,
working with breath, working with mindfulness to help relax my couples and individuals that I was working with psychosexually. That's part of the psychosexual work anyway. So
yeah,
that kind of became a tool in my work. I've been working for 17 years. I trained in the UK. And then I moved to Saudi Arabia 5.5 years ago. And
yeah,
now I'm basically doing hybrid sessions, some here, some there. A lot of it is here. And basically, I have found that the last few months of last year, I have two mats in my room. So I've really come a long way from being a very classic psychodynamic therapist
Yeah.
to somebody who works in an embodied way with breath, with yoga, with mindfulness in order
Mm.
to do not just psychosexual work, but I also trained with EMDR,
Mhm.
which is basically using the REM sleep. Uh, the premise is we go into REM sleep for a few hours every night.
Yeah.
And it's the same principle that you use with the EMDR to work with trauma. And
Okay.
it really works beautifully with breath, with an awareness
Mm.
of your body, with self-love, with acceptance,
Yeah.
and working with trauma in a non-threatening way to start with.
Mm.
So
Mm.
my journey with yoga and my own personal therapy and supervision has meant that I am really, really able to help my clients
Yeah.
uh, with that. So yoga
Yeah.
has been a big part of my own journey with my mental health issues, where I've struggled a lot with depression over the
Mm.
years, which obviously informs my own work, and it's
Yeah.
really helped me to
Yeah.
see things from the other side, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like you, therapy has complemented yoga for you, and yoga
Yeah.
with therapy has complemented my journey and my work.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. Yeah, because I feel like it definitely they work hand in hand. And I think like the
Yes.
therapy side for me has worked on my mind, my emotions,
Hmm.
understanding my thoughts and where they're
Yes.
coming from
And then
and
locating them in your
in
body.
your body. Yeah. And
Yes.
understanding like where is this being held in my body? And then when I get onto
Yes.
the yoga mat,
Mm.
I then feel like I can release it more and I can understand my body more,
Mm-hmm.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think it has been really like a really good connection, and it's really good to
Yes.
see like that you're working in that way too, in a similar way, and that it's really helped you. And I think what's really interesting as well is like you said, like you've been through like depression, and myself as well. I've been through that as well, and I feel like that has informed me more and allowed me to understand myself and
Yes.
also what some of my private clients come to me for as well, to
Yeah.
be able to hold that space, right? To be able
Mm-hmm.
to hold that space for your
Yes.
client. And
Yes.
so if someone was to come to you, so obviously you said that you kind of work with the breath and the mind and, work
Mm-hmm.
with the breath and the body. And
Yes.
then on the mat, and then do you then like journey through someone's trauma? Like, how do you do that in terms of the therapy side of things? This is a new question. I wasn't going to ask you, but I just feel
Yes,
like
I
as we've
know.
been talking, I'm
It's
just going to
just,
ask you that.
I was hoping that things will germinate in both our minds and we will
Yeah,
just take it very intuitively.
where it
So
needs to
I
go.
work very intuitively with my clients. I often feel their, with the counter transference. I sort of do it very, and I tailor my EMDR, my psychosexual work, psychodynamic work, to the needs of the client. So if somebody's come
Mm.
to me for, they're really struggling with a trauma that's very deeply buried, and
Yeah,
they are recently have to become aware uh, like they're forced to really face their
yeah.
trauma at a certain
Can you
time.
give an
Often,
example of the trauma that it could be?
yeah, so I mean, it could be psychosexual trauma, it could
Mm.
be. So my trauma work is very informed by Gabor Mate. I don't know if you know about
Double.
him,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he's a general practitioner and he's worked with addiction and he's worked with trauma. He is an amazing
Mm.
educator. I
Mm.
recommend everyone following him on Instagram and his YouTube channel. And he
Yeah,
talks about trauma not just in terms of like an actual sexual abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse or any kind of abuse in relationships.
Yeah.
But also, he says that there are big T's with trauma,
Yeah.
and then there is a small T in
Yeah.
trauma. So then it's sort of like one small T, like I mean, it's not a small T, but childhood
Yeah.
neglect, for instance, which is very, very difficult to locate
Yeah.
for people. It takes a lot of time, and I have to constantly remind them that their neglect is actually traumatic.
Yeah.
And it actually really undermines their self-compassion, their self
Mm.
love, and all of those things.
Yeah.
And obviously, working with the breath and the body helps because they don't need words to talk about it. Often people come to me and they don't have the words to express
Yeah.
their feelings. And so it's a part of their journey that we do it in a mindful way, in an embodied way, where some of the trauma is pre-verbal. They were infants. Like Gabor Mate's mother was, they lived in Hungary. He's Hungarian, and they lived through the Holocaust.
Yeah.
They were Jewish. So she had to procure milk for him. And by the time she brought it home, it had curdled because she stood in the line
Mm.
for hours. So he experienced trauma as an infant and didn't have a language for it. So
Yeah.
he's worked with an embodied way on his own self through addiction, because it's the concept of the wounded healer, right? You want to heal
Yeah.
yourself through other people's journeys and their pain.
Yeah.
You can help them, they help you.
Yeah.
So that's the way I would approach any trauma, small t or big T, through EMDR, if the client
Okay.
agrees. And often people who are very anti-therapy will
Yeah.
agree to EMDR because it's non-verbal communication.
Yeah.
And
I know what I'm
it's
talking
very
about. Yeah.
gentle, and you really ease them into it. And then
Mm.
we work with the breath, then we do mindfulness before an EMDR session. And EMDR is based on eye movement, rapid eye movement, and it's reuptake, it's reprocessing your trauma that is not even conscious.
Yeah.
And it brings it up, or if people are aware of it, then they locate it in their body. And then it's basically this movement,
Mm.
which mirrors the eye movement, left to right, right to left, the REM
Mm.
sleep. And that's
Yeah.
because our healing happens during our sleep. So the
Yes.
premise is that you use that rapid eye movement in order to non-verbally process trauma.
Wow. Okay.
And it really, I mean, from my own experience, and there is a lot of scientific research on EMDR, and every single trauma therapist all over the world recommends EMDR.
Yeah.
Um, and there's just not enough of us doing it. So
Yeah.
there's exponential increase in EMDR practitioners, I think,
Yeah. Yeah.
every every year, year on year. So it's very effective, I found, in my practice.
Yeah.
Um,
I think so. I
so yeah,
can imagine. And I
yeah,
think
yeah,
like for people that are watching, like, yeah, I think if it's like trauma, we've
yes,
all been through trauma. We've actually all got work to do when it comes to trauma, because trauma, like you said, it's like a big T with a small T.
yes,
It just could be something that's happened in the day which you just don't think much of, but it's actually impacted you. You
yes,
might not have the words for it. And
yeah,
so I think it's really amazing that you're able to offer EMDR, because
EMDR,
it
yes,
is, yeah, just to be able to allow people to process it in a way that isn't, just working with the mind so much. It is finding
it's
it in the
working.
body, isn't
It's
it,
the
right?
mind-body connection,
Connection,
really.
the two,
Yes.
right? Which is really, really
Mm.
powerful. And then I think, does that then help your clients to then find their voice again and to be able to use their
Yes,
voice?
once they have, and EMDR happens in stages. So it's not a quick
Mm,
fix,
yeah.
but it is very time efficient. If you think about, talk therapy, and I'm not playing down the importance of talk
Mm,
therapy or yoga practice, and you have to build it up over a period of time.
yeah.
And people ask me how long it'll take, and I say, how long is a piece of string? I
Yeah.
don't know how long it will take you, but people ease into it, and in the beginning they're afraid that they'll uncover a lot. But it just and in my experience, it helps my clients to get to that place of self-compassion, to get to that place of healing, and they are more open in their mind and body
Yeah.
to work with whatever
Yeah.
is needed in their journey.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really, really beautiful. Really
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah,
And
it is.
so how has it helped you personally as well in terms of in terms of, could you give us how do you as a day-to-day routine incorporate therapy for yourself
Yeah.
and yoga? And do you practice EMDR on yourself as well?
I can't practice EMDR on myself, but I've had EMDR
Someone to hold it for
with
you, right?
someone to hold it,
Yeah.
and also supervision with EMDR is very important.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of supervision just because I feel like I need a scaffolding around myself because of my own mental health journey.
Yeah.
I've realized that the more help I can get for myself, the more informed my work is going to be. So it benefits me, but it also benefits my clients
Yeah.
to have that embodied experience through EMDR. So a lot of the practice that I do is having my own therapy, having a
Yeah.
routine, having a purpose in life, starting my day. As I said, earlier when I was thinking about bullet points, one of the things I wrote was, I don't always succeed. So people who get disheartened by, oh, I can't do mindfulness, I can't do breath work because my mind wanders. But the whole process is about recognizing that we have a monkey brain and it will jump from one thing to another to another. And I don't always succeed in holding that space.
Yeah.
But I keep trying, and I
Yeah.
keep trying to have a routine, and I keep trying to do yoga. I do yoga formally once a week in a yoga class, and I think the energy of the group helps me to process things.
Yeah.
One-to-one is amazing to start off with, though. If I
Yeah.
hadn't started my journey one-to-one, I think I would have. I had the luxury to do it. Not everyone does, but I would say, go for a shorter break on holiday. Spend less on
Make some money
clothes,
on
spend less on other forms of entertainment,
and
and
invest
put
in
this
yourself, right? It's really about investing
exactly.
in yourself.
Yes. And people, I say to people, if you have a lawn in your home, you get it, you cut the grass in the summer every week or every other week. But with your mental health, with yoga, you think, oh, that's just an add-on. And that's, we need to get our priorities right. I think
exactly.
that's the thing that
And
I've really, really learned, is that you put yourself first and you invest in yourself.
invest in yourself.
That's the only
Exactly.
way to heal and to move forward with your journey.
And to really create like a foundation and a structure for yourself to move forward. Because I think if you have those tools and when things do get difficult, you've got a place to go to, and you can turn to your yoga practice, you can turn to your therapy, and allow that to hold you through those difficult times. And then also, like when you're flourishing, I think you still also need to have those practices in place. So for myself, I go and see my therapist regularly, because it's not, there's so much happening on a day-to-day routine where I'm so much trying to process so much. So it's really important
Also
to keep doing.
looking after other people. I have a compulsion to constantly, I know abandonment is a big word for people, but I constantly abandon my own self. And I struggle with it every single day in my decisions to come back to my body, come back to myself, come back to my inner child, and come back to what my unmet needs are on a daily basis.
Because that's what it is. I think you can't just go to one session and think it's all going to get fixed. You can't do
No,
one
and
yoga
people,
session, one therapy session, and that's it. It's a real
yeah,
journey,
and
a
it's
lifetime
a
journey.
yeah, and when you do yoga regularly, when you do weekly sessions, and people say, "Can I see you bi-monthly?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but your process is going to be much longer. It's much more cost effective to
Mm,
see me
yeah,
on a weekly basis." And then, you don't need to stay if you feel like you don't need it.
yeah.
Often people leave and then they come
You
back
come back.
after a few months,
Yeah,
actually.
I get the same. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
because they
Come back.
learn that actually it was helping them to
Mm,
stay, to keep their head above the water. And then
yeah, and
gradually,
just keep that connection. Yeah,
yeah, and then
connection.
gradually you build it up and you build your resilience. And then every challenge that you have, every adversity that you have, you go back to your default position, actually,
Yeah,
because that's
yeah.
the neural pathway that you've taken
You're
again and
done.
again.
Yeah,
And with
no.
yoga and
Yeah,
therapy, you're building new neural pathways in your brain. So
yeah,
this is neuroscience. I'm not just talking,
yeah,
this is not new age stuff. This
yeah,
is an age old stuff about, and when we lived in communities and when we had relationships with the support of a community, which we don't have anymore. We lived in cement buildings. We're not
yeah,
connected to nature, not connected to our breath, not having the support network around us.
yeah.
It's very hard. So yoga and therapy will act as your
Your
community,
community,
will help you
your
build a
support. Yeah,
community and get rid of your inhibition. Why should I be the one always making an effort? My friend
yeah,
didn't call me back. No, insist
yeah,
on finding joy in your life through relationships, through practices of
yeah,
self love. Ultimately, therapy and yoga
yeah.
is about self compassion.
Yeah, it is completely. It's all
Mm.
just giving yourself that love that you need, that, sometimes we seek it from others and we just cannot find it there, right? And no
No.
one actually will be able to give you the love that you deserve because no one
Mm-hmm.
is, we're all working through our own traumas. No one can give you that love. It's only by
No,
going
no
in
one can.
yourself, right?
No one
Yeah.
can.
So,
And taking that responsibility for your own journey, for your
yeah,
own self-healing, is actually a very self-liberating
yeah,
place that you get
yeah.
to.
It's a
It's
powerful place. It's so
so
powerful.
powerful. You stand in your own power. I am able
Yeah,
to stand in my own power
yeah,
when I am most connected to myself. And
yeah,
when
completely.
that gets dislodged,
Yeah,
I lose my center, I lose my
yeah,
grounding.
yeah,
And then I'm like all over the place.
yeah. What is going on? Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's
So
okay to lose
depression,
it
yeah,
sometimes. I think it's very
sometimes, and time to
natural.
time we will lose it.
Yeah,
We're human
we
beings.
will. Yeah.
Welcome. There is a poem by Rumi that I read a lot to my
Mm,
clients about the guest house. So every
yeah.
challenge, every adversity sent to us is an opportunity that the universe is sending us from beyond
Mm,
this world.
yeah.
And receiving each guest, whether it's depression, a momentary thought,
Mm,
an anxiety, they're all
mm,
um, guests who knock at your door, and
yeah.
they'll keep knocking. The universe
Until
will keep sending
you
you
open the door.
those
Yeah.
challenges again and again. Open the door and welcome them with open
Yeah,
arms.
exactly.
That's what
Yeah.
Rumi says. I mean, it gives me goosebumps every single time I talk about it.
Yeah, you'll have to share that with me.
I'll share it. I'll share it
Yeah,
in our
yeah, share
comments.
it. And
Yeah.
I'm just looking through. Farah said, "I'm your big fan to you, Fatima." That's really sweet. That's really sweet. Lena said, "Please, can you share the Instagram profile?" I think that was of Gabor Mate.
Yes.
So I think
I
it's
will.
just at Gabor. Maybe in the comments.
It's
So what
at
I'll do is I'll
Gabor
share this.
Mate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you haven't come across Gabor Mate, please do.
yeah.
Please do.
I've
It'll
heard of
be the
him.
biggest
Yeah,
gift to
yeah.
yourself because
It
he
is
makes
amazing.
everything the way he talks, everything falls into place, and you're like, oh my God,
That makes
why didn't I think
sense.
of this
Yeah,
myself?
yeah,
You,
yeah.
you
It's
know,
amazing.
and he's just a superb educator.
Yeah.
Another account that I would recommend we follow for inner child work and for relationships, and she's an amazing educator too. She's written 2 books. It's Dr. Nicole La Perla, and
Okay.
her Insta handle is the holistic psychologist. And
Okay.
she
Yeah, I think I've heard of her
teaches,
as well.
she does all these role plays when she becomes the parent, and then she talks like a child and then replies,
Yeah.
another person's in her videos, and they reply as a critical parent, or a
Yeah.
parent who was not neglecting them, and
Yeah.
couldn't work through their own trauma. So, all kinds of issues, codependency.
Yeah.
There's a whole myriad of
Yeah.
issues that you have
Yeah.
with parenting, and she helps you with the reparenting process, it's called, for
Mm,
your unmet needs, which are represented by your inner
yeah.
child. So she's
Amazing.
amazing as well, holistic psychologist.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'll do is I'm gonna save this and I'll put it up onto my profile page. And then
Hmm.
if in the comments, Fatima, you can add in their accounts. I'll try and see if I can find their accounts as well and add
Yeah.
them in. I think I already followed them on Matting as well. But I think we're coming up to the end of the session.
Yes.
So I feel like I
Yes.
could speak to you all day, actually. I feel like there's so much more to talk about on this subject because it is like
Yes.
such a big one. But just to kind of finish off here, could you just recommend how people can find a good therapist? Because I think a lot of people maybe who are watching
Yeah.
might be intrigued and might want to start.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, please.
two places I'll recommend in the UK. One is the BACP, the British Association for
Mm,
Counselling and Psychotherapy.
yeah,
They have
that's how I
accredited,
found mine,
yes, they
actually.
have
Yeah,
accredited therapists,
yeah,
and they can help you. There's different, scales of fees as well for different
yeah,
needs. You will find psychodynamic therapists, you will find all kinds of different modalities.
yeah,
Not every modality suits everyone. So
yeah.
there's a whole menu of therapists. The others, and I'm an accredited member of the BACP. And then I'm a member of COSRET, which is the College of Sexual and Relationship Therapy. So
Mm,
you can find psychosexual therapists there,
yeah,
relationship therapists, couple therapists. Um, then I think the other thing would be just Google EMDR therapists in your area. It's not coming to my mind which
okay,
platform you can look for them. Counseling Directory is one. Therapy Route is another platform where you can find therapists. So there's a whole wealth of the messages of hope.
yeah,
It's not, it's a hopeful message. Yoga, therapy, everything is a very positive, hopeful message for people in their healing
mm,
journey.
yeah.
So in the Middle East, though, there is very little choice available, but it's
Mm,
getting better and better.
okay, okay,
Yeah,
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 okay. I think that's helpful. I think for anybody watching that wants to actually get into it, I think that's really helpful.
yeah.
But thank you so much for chatting to me today. I think that was really good. And I think a really like just a great self-love practice
Yes.
to do for yourself, right?
Mm,
Which I really
mm,
advocate.
mm-hmm.
So just to let everyone know that I will be back again live next Sunday at 9 a.m. If you haven't
Mm-hmm.
been following me or Fatima already, please do follow us because
Yes,
we are on a self-love journey, right?
yes.
And
And
yeah,
there's
we
so
love
much
to share that.
synchronicity, between
Yeah,
your work and mine. And
yeah,
you
exactly.
really, I just want to mention at the end, I couldn't have got here without you.
Oh, thank you, Fatima. That's really sweet. Yeah, I think we worked through a lot, and it was so. I really enjoyed our sessions together. Like it was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah.
We just
My
worked
mother
through our
had just
yoga and
passed away,
yeah, there's a lot
and
going
you
on.
helped me so much. I
Yeah,
released something or the other every single week. I did it with my husband as well, so
yeah,
he was affected by my grief as well, my first
yeah,
loss of a parent.
yeah,
And I worked through yoga and breath through my father's illness. In the last 9 months of his life, he went blind, and it was COVID,
yeah,
and I was able to work from Karachi. And every day I told him I'll be back after my half an hour of yoga.
yeah,
And he was like, go, that's your
yeah,
time. So I
yeah,
couldn't have survived without yoga, all my
yeah,
challenges.
yeah. I think it was really good to see you in that space and have that
Mm.
space. And I'm so glad that you've carried on So, and just kept it part of your life.
Yeah.
Because I'm always there, like I always advocate doing yoga, and I want to serve as many people as I can. But ultimately, it's being able to be independent in the practice as well yourself, because you'll connect with a teacher, but also it's important to be able to do it yourself and to perhaps find that
to internalize a
yeah,
yoga teacher, to
yeah,
have that as a resource
it's
always. In a
always in
moment of
something.
panic, to be able to do box breathing, to be able to do
Yeah,
Kapalabhati,
yeah,
all of those different
yeah,
ways of breathing.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, this has been such a beautiful conversation. I've really, really enjoyed it.
Me
We'll
too.
have to do it again, I think.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
We'll
We'll do it again,
do it
definitely.
again.
There's a lot we haven't covered, which we thought we will.
Yeah, I know. We had some other questions, so we'll try and come back to it. We'll do a part two or something.
Yes, and I'd like
But
to
yeah.
ask you
Oh,
questions next time.
okay, yeah, maybe we'll switch it and then you can ask me some questions. That would be really good actually
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
But otherwise,
Okay.
yeah, have a really good Sunday, everybody. And thank you everyone who joined in. But I'll see you again next
Yeah.
Sunday. Take care. Take care,
Inshallah.
Fatima.
Take care,
Take care.
Jaina. Thank
Bye.
you, everyone, for joining who's live. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.